In today's video, I wanted to show you how I did this blue design, but before we start, make sure that you prep well the nails. I already done that, so now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna get the form ready, and I'm gonna start by doing these cuts on the side because this is gonna serve me as a guide for me to know where I have to apply the acrylic. Now I'm gonna start building up this first nail, and what I like to do is that I apply the first bead between the natural nail and the form, because I feel like in that way the nail is gonna be a lot stronger and it's gonna have less chances of actually breaking. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna keep pushing the acrylic down until I have this first bead already done. And then I'm gonna apply the second one, and here I'm gonna cover up everything that is left. And now that I have that done, I'm gonna wait a couple seconds until this nail is straight enough for me to apply some pressure on the sides. I feel like this step is one of the most important because this is gonna make your nail be a lot more natural and it's gonna have a more of a C shape. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start building up this second nail, and I'm gonna start just the way that I told you earlier. I'm gonna apply the first bead between the natural nail and the form, and I'm gonna use my brush to keep pushing the acrylic down until it's the shape that I like. And once I have that done, I'm gonna apply the second bead, and I'm gonna cover up everything that is left. When you guys do this step, make sure that you don't touch the cuticle too much or the skin, because what can happen is that can actually cause lifting, and that can make your nail fall off a lot sooner than it's supposed to. And since these are square nails, I'm gonna put the form completely straight. I don't know if I forgot to tell you guys, but basically I'm gonna do pretty long square nails. And a little tip that I have for you guys is that when you're doing acrylic nails, you should keep a paper on the side to keep cleaning the brush, because like you guys know, acrylic dries off by itself, so it can not only dry on the nail, but it can possibly dry on the brush, and trust me, that's gonna ruin it. So what I like to do is that I keep this paper on the side and I keep cleaning the brush with some monomer. And of course, just like always, I'm gonna apply some pressure on the sides. This step is so important, so make sure that you don't miss it. And now onto the last nail. And of course, I'm gonna apply the first bead between the natural nail and the form. And I'm gonna use my brush to keep pushing the acrylic down until it's the square shape that I like. Remember that I'm gonna do pretty long nails, so they're gonna be about L size, kind of. And once I have this first step done, I'm gonna apply the last bead, and I'm gonna end up covering everything up. And I know that I'm gonna repeat myself, but make sure that you apply some pressure on the sides. This step is so important. And this is how these acrylic nails look like. They are not perfect, but that's why I always say that filing is one of the most important steps. And since these are square nails, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna start filing the sides, and I'm gonna make sure that these sides are as straight as possible. And this is how the nails look like after filing the sides. Now the only thing left to do is to file the surface, and I like to use my e-file for that, but you guys can use a regular one, whatever you want to do. And here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to file down these nails until they're kind of thin, and also I'm going to make sure that there's no bumps left behind, because otherwise that's going to make our design look a little bit strange. And this is how the nails look like. Now everything is done and we're ready to do the design. Before we start, you guys know that it's so important to always clean off the nails. So what I do is that I get a brush and I take off all of the extra dust that is left behind, because otherwise what can happen is that our nail polish can end up being dirty. For today's base color, I chose this really pretty neutral pink that I actually like to use a lot, because I feel like it kind of goes with everything. So here what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna paint these nails, And since this is a very light color, I'm actually gonna go over it twice until it's the color that I like. And you guys know that I like to use gel polishes, so that means that they need to get under the light, they need to be cured for them to dry. So my nail polishes take about 30 seconds. That can vary depending on the brand, so make sure that you check how much yours needs. Also, make sure that everything is well covered, because if there's any spots left behind, that can make our design look kind of strange. And of course, I'm gonna cure everything. And this is how the base looks like. Now everything is ready for us to do these French nails. I'm going to be using this really pretty electric blue. And here what I did is that first I created this curved line that it's gonna serve me as a guide for me to know where I have to be applying the blue and finish up this French design. On the second nail, I was also going to do a French design, but I decided to switch that up and just cover the entire nail with blue, because I feel like the design is gonna look better this way. And here I'm gonna keep doing the French nails. Of course, first I'm gonna start using this very thin brush to create this curved line that serves me as a guide. And then I'm gonna start covering up the tip of the nail with this blue gel polish. Also, if it doesn't end up looking perfect, don't worry, because we're actually gonna be adding a lot more colors, so it's going to end up looking great in the end. So once I'm done using this blue, I'm gonna cure everything for about 30 seconds. And this is how the base of the French nails look like. Now everything is done and we can start applying some more color to these nails. And the first thing that I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be using this really pretty light blue gel polish. And I'm gonna keep using the thin brush. I recommend you guys to do this, because otherwise it's going to be impossible to create this type of abstract lines. And in this design, what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be creating these curvy lines that are gonna go all over the French design. And what this is gonna do is that it's gonna serve as a base for all of the other colors that we're gonna be applying. And of course, once I'm done, I'm gonna cure everything for about 30 seconds. Like you guys can tell, this design is actually pretty simple, because all you gotta be doing is create these lines and use colors that you think are gonna go well together. For this second color, I chose this really pretty light purple. And here actually I'm gonna be using kind of pastel colors, because like I told you earlier, this is gonna serve as a guide for the other more brighter colors that we're gonna be applying later on. Also, each time that I apply a new color, I'm gonna try to follow the direction of the lines, because I feel like the design is gonna look better this way. And now I'm gonna apply this really pretty dark blue. And actually, every time that I apply a darker color, I'm gonna try not to make too many lines, because I feel like the pastel lines can end up fading away. And here what I'm gonna do is kind of create this type of marble design, if that makes any sense, because I feel like it's going to be easier this way. And of course, I'm gonna keep curing each color as I go on. Now I'm gonna start applying this really pretty bright green color. And here what I'm gonna do is that actually I'm gonna try to follow the dark blue. And also I'm gonna try not to make too many lines, because I feel like it's gonna be too much otherwise. Also, another thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm trying to make these lines be a little bit different. Some of them are gonna be thinner and some are gonna be more chunky. I feel like this way is gonna make the design look more complete. And now to finish up, the only thing that I'm going to do is just add a little bit of this white gel polish. And actually here, I'm only gonna put it side to side with the dark blue, because I feel like this contrast is gonna look really well. And to finish up, of course, I'm gonna cure everything for about 30 seconds. And this is how the design looks like. I love this combination of colors. I think that it looks really pretty. But of course, if you guys don't want to use blue, you can switch it up and make it pink or orange, whatever you want to do. But another thing that I wanted to add is this gold gel polish that I'm only going to be adding on the guideline of the French nail, because I feel like it makes the design be more complete. Otherwise, I feel like these French nails look a little bit simple. And here, the way that I'm going to be doing it is that I'm going to be using the thin nail art brush that I've been using all along. And little by little, I'm going to be going over the guideline. And of course, I'm going to cure everything for about 60 seconds this time. And this is how the nails look like after adding the gold gel polish. I think they look so pretty. I love this combination. But we're not completely done yet, because what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be applying some of this top coat, not just to add shine, but also to protect the design that we did. And actually here, I'm going to try not to put too much of it on top of the gold, because I feel like it's going to make the glitter be less shiny. And of course, once I'm done doing that, I'm going to cure everything for about 60 seconds. And this is how the final design looks like. I love the shine that the top coat added, and I think this combination of colors looks so pretty. Just remember that all you gotta do is create a bunch of abstract lines and use different colors. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please subscribe and like this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!